We finally have another option for grading and authenticating Sports Illustrated magazines that have been autographed. What's up, guys? This is Brad. So I'm kind of excited about this. This is a new development, breaking news in the sports magazine collectible world. We finally have a new option for autographs, and we've been talking for a long time. I've been talking for a long time about how really there's not a great option out there if you have Sports Illustrateds that have been signed. There are a couple options out there, but in my opinion, they're just not that great. CGC, of course, will slab and grade any Sports Illustrated issue that has been autographed, but they will not authenticate the autograph. They will not recognize other authentications that have already happened, such as a JSA or a Beckett or a PSA. They'll basically either give you a green qualified label or they will deduct points from you and treat that signature as a flaw. And, they're going to put on their label up at top, they're just going to say Kurt Warner written on the cover. They pretty much, almost ignore the fact that it's a signature. Pretty inconvenient to me, really detracts from the collectability and the coolness of the autograph. Of course, we know that Beckett does have a service where they will slab and authenticate autographs that are on magazines, but they don't grade it, so that's a little different as well. But finally, we've got an option where we can do both, where we can grade, we can authenticate. You're not going to get dinged for having an autograph. For example, I'm holding up. This is Kurt Warner's first Sports Illustrated cover from 1999. It's got a nice Kurt Warner signature there. It's been authenticated by like a Kurt Warner foundation. This was given out from at a Kurt Warner Foundation event. But if I sent this into CGC, it would not be recognized as a legitimate autograph. So here is what we have now. I'm actually going to share my screen and show all of you what we now have um, as a new option. So here we go, sharing the screen. Let's go with that. All right, and we're live. So here we are. First place I've got you is this is the CGC website, and this is basically what I just told you. CGC, well, actually I haven't mentioned this yet. I talked about if you have a magazine that's already autographed and how CGC treats it. Really the CGC will only authenticate an autograph if they witness it happen. That's how you get a CGC Signature Series, a gold label. Here I'm at the FAQ questions asking about CGC Signature Series, and it says what signings are approved for Signature Series. It talks about how most of them are prearranged, but it's basically any signing that is witnessed by a CGC authorized facilitator. And it even asks right here, what if I get the book signed before submitting the book to CGC, such as this Kurt Warner issue right here. And it says, unfortunately, if the signing is not witnessed by someone authorized by CGC, then the signature cannot be authenticated for the Signature Series label. If I have a signed collectible graded by another grading service, will it receive the CGC Signature Series label? And the answer is no. If it's in a non-CGC holder, it is not eligible. So once again, if it's in a Beckett slab that's already been authenticated, doesn't matter. So that CGC Signature Series is super, super strict because what are the odds that you're going to be in the same location as a CGC authorized witness and an athlete who is going to be able to sign your magazine? In fact, I've got another video coming out very soon talking a little bit more about CGC Signature Series, but there's been less than 100 ever um, examples of Sports Illustrated getting a Signature Series. There's thousands of examples in the comic world because they specifically set up all these private signing events, but just doesn't happen for Sports Illustrated. So here is an example. Here's one of the very few examples. Like I said, there's less than 100. And this is a Mike Tyson first cover subscription copy that did receive the gold label Signature Series. It says that it was signed by Mike Tyson on May 15th, 2022. And it's funny because actually it seems like probably half or so of the very few Sports Illustrated Signature Series are Mike Tyson. So Mike Tyson obviously has been at some of these, probably Comic Con events or, different comic signing events. So that's what it looks like. And so here's what I got to share with you. CBCS has entered the group chat. So CBCS, if you're not familiar, they are pretty widely recognized as the number two most popular comic grading company behind CGC. CGC, really at the top. They kind of dominate the throne in terms of grading comics. But CBCS, in my opinion, is fairly reputable. I mean, consider if you come from the world of sports cards, consider CGC to be the equivalent of PSA, and then CBCS may be like an SGC. Still reputable, but obviously doesn't have the same market share that PSA does with cards or that CGC does with comics. So anyway, CBCS up until recently has only graded comics. And they did like a year ago or a year and a half ago, they actually came out with an announcement that they were going to start grading magazines. And some of us in the hobby, including myself, got a little excited about that because we thought that was going to give us an option to send our Sports Illustrated magazines in. But they quickly clarified, no, 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 we're only grading magazine-sized comics, and they specifically even said no Sports Illustrated at this time. So, that was kind of a bummer. But it turns out, quietly, they have now started accepting Sports Illustrated. I mean, there was no announcement about this or whatsoever. Basically, we kind of stumbled upon this. Actually, I have a friend who's in a group chat, and he just randomly asked in the group chat the other day, "Hey, who has ever gotten a magazine graded by CBCS?" And I kind of chimed in. I'm like, "Yeah, they don't do it. They only do magazine-sized comics." And he's like, "Whoa, hold on a minute. I just saw one." And then that led to some digging, led to us reaching out to CBCS customer service, and they confirmed that they now are grading Sports Illustrated magazines. In fact, I will read for you word for word what this CGC customer service email said, and here it is. They said, our magazine database changes as we grow that service, so we are now grading Sports Illustrated. Currently, we grade Sports Illustrated, Playboy, and other gaming or comic-related titles. So there you go. That is straight from the horse's mouth from CBCS today as I record this, February 8th, 2024. So here I have CBCS's website open, and this is their basically equivalent of the Signature Series. They also have a service like CGC where they will give you like a special designation if the signature is witnessed. Okay, so that's called their authentic signature program. But what they also have, which CGC does not have, is the verified signature program, the trusted source for authenticated signatures. So let's look at this a little bit. So it says, when CBCS launched its verified signature program, it took the industry by storm. Finally, collectors had a way to authenticate the unwitnessed autographs they had in their collection, removing the doubt and uncertainty as to the validity for the signatures. CBCS verified signatures are designated on our yellow signature label as a verified signature. Any signatures that are on the book that have been witnessed according to the guidelines of the authentic signature program will be listed. Sorry, I'm struggling through this one. Will be listed as witnessed signatures along with the date the signature was added to the book. So basically, what they're saying is, whether it is witnessed or whether it is just verified, they will give you the gold label, but then they'll just notate a slight difference. And I'm actually going to show you a couple examples here in just a minute. Now, scrolling down, how does the verification process work? This is where it gets real interesting for sports collectors because up until now, you may not be sold about this. You may be like, well, who the heck is this CBCS company? Why should I, um, want to send a magazine in to be graded by them? How do I know that they're credible? Well, check this part out right here. All signatures are authenticated by Beckett Authentication Services as of February 2018. So my understanding is that CBCS and Beckett are owned by the same parent company. CBCS might even be owned by Beckett. I'm not sure, but somehow they're together. They're underneath the same umbrella. And so any autograph that CBCS sends in to be verified or receives to be verified, it's actually going through Beckett, which is a highly reputable autograph authentication service, has been for a long time. I mean, in my opinion, the three most common um, autograph authentications that I see for sports autographs, at least, are JSA, PSA, and then Beckett. So that adds quite a bit of validity and legitimacy to what CBCS is doing with their autograph verification. It even says world-renowned autograph experts Steve Grad, Brian Sobrero, and their knowledgeable team bring vast experience with autographs from all genres. Once the item containing a signature requiring authentication is received by CBCS and entered into the system, BAS, which is Beckett Authentication Services, begins their autograph examination process. After the autograph has been examined, the book is placed in the CBCS climate-controlled vault until grading or encapsulation. So that is pretty cool. That's almost like a little bit of a tie. It's like a bridge between the comic world and the sports world, because if you're any sort of sports card or sports collectible fan, you know Beckett very, very well. All right, and speaking of Beckett, let's go look at their site. Here's where Beckett talks about their autograph authentication. Once again, highly reputable, talks about the process that their experts go through to analyze the ink, the structure of the autograph, reference database examples to make side-by-side comparisons of other signatures. And then they'll put on they've got little QR codes and labels, and they have verification database and all that stuff. So once again, highly reputable, pretty legitimate. Here is an example. Get this thing out of my way. Here's an example of what a Beckett Slabbed magazine looks like. So once again, they'll slab it and they will authenticate it. So here's a Jimmy Butler autograph, and it says authentic autograph. There's no grade. Okay, so a lot of people in the hobby have been doing that because at least it preserves the magazine, it encapsulates it, nice display, authenticates the autograph, but no grade takes out a big component that a lot of people like. So Beckett, as you know, like I said, they do lots of other things. Here's a sports card. This was a Tom Brady card. They authenticated right here the autograph itself. I think this Tom Brady card sold for like 1.59 million. So, Beckett's been involved in some pretty big collectibles. Here's a Mickey Mantle autograph jersey that Beckett authenticated. This sold for 2.19 million. So again, the fact that CBCS uses Beckett authentication for autographs is pretty legit. Pretty legit. Okay, so let's see here. I've got a couple CBCS slabs to show you. This is an example of, this is a comic. What is it? I don't even know what this is. Some comic character. Maestro, maybe. Frankie's Comics Virgin Variant Maestro #1. There you go. Witness signature from Clayton Crane. So this is an example where the signature was actually witnessed. It's got the gold label, and it just specifies right here that it's been witnessed. And then here we have an Amazing Spider-Man #600. Same gold label. This one's verified. So this signature by the great Stan Lee, there it is right there. This was not witnessed by any CBCS employee, But it was sent into CBCS after the fact and verified. So the label is the same. They just notate the difference there, whether it's witnessed or verified. So here's what's pretty cool. This is the CBCS census, okay, the pop reports. And we're going to go ahead and check out Sports Illustrated. And look at this. They actually already have one Sports Illustrated within their Hop report. So, like I said, this is pretty breaking news right here. This is pretty hot off the presses. There's only been one Sports Illustrated sent into CBCS to be graded. I'm going to go ahead and click within this. It's volume 90, issue number 2. The one copy that's graded received a 9. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And unfortunately, they don't have the image uploaded. I am not familiar with CBCS's, pop census at all. I've never really spent time in here, so I don't know if they usually have photos, but I'm going to go ahead and click on the serial number for this one specific one. You can see no image available. I don't know how common that is, but you can see right here, signature, verified signature. I think that's what the VSP stands for, Keyshawn Johnson. And so volume number 90, issue number 2, I did some research from 1999. This is the Keyshawn Johnson cover that someone obviously had autographed by Keyshawn Johnson, and they sent in to CBCS, and CBCS had Beckett authenticate the autograph. They slabbed it. It got a 9.0 and a verified signature authentication. That's pretty cool. Obviously, I don't have a photo of the actual slab, but based on my research, that is basically what has happened. Now, they also, like I read in the email, they said they're doing Sports Illustrated and Playboy. And so if we go to the back to the search bar here on the census, now I'm going to type in Playboy. And you can see that there have been some Playboys graded as well. In fact, there's been quite a few more Playboys. There's only been one Sports Illustrated, but look at all these Playboys. There's 52 total records. So it looks like there's been 52 different issues. Most of them have all been graded once. I'm assuming probably the same person sent most of these in. Here's one that's been graded twice. I know I saw one when I scrolled through here earlier, like this one's been graded 4 times. That looks like it's issue number 1 of the Marilyn Monroe cover, pretty well-known cover there. Let's go ahead, and I haven't clicked into this yet. I wonder if I can see any photos of these. Let's see here. Once again, I'm not familiar with the CBCS. Oh yeah, look, this one's got the photo. So there you go. That's pretty cool. I hadn't even pulled this up yet. This is a issue number 1 Playboy. It was autographed by Hugh Hefner and got the gold label 4.0. And I'm assuming that image is pretty small there, but I'm assuming that's a verified. There it is. Verified signature, Hugh Hefner. Okay, very cool. So that is basically what this would look like for a Sports Illustrated if we were to do that. It would look very similar to this. And let's see here. Here was another example that I already found of a Playboy. This is a CBCS graded Playboy. That same issue number 1 graded a 2.5. This one doesn't have a signature. And this sold for over $2,000 just a couple months ago in November of 2023. So, obviously it's been several months since they've been doing this, but I think pretty much none of us knew. They never made an announcement or anything. And I think that this could be kind of big for autographs. So once again, I mean, I am not particularly interested in sending my raw, unsigned newsstand copies to be graded by CBCS. I think that CGC already has such a large market share, and despite some of the scandals or controversies that have arisen, I think CGC still is the dominant grader for comics and for magazines. But I'll tell you what, this Autograph authentication to me changes things a little bit because I've got a pretty substantial collection of signed Sports Illustrateds, and I know there are a lot of people out there who have signed Sports Illustrateds. I mean, if you think about it, signed Sports Illustrateds have been kind of a popular hobby much longer than graded Sports Illustrateds. Graded Sports Illustrateds really just kind of blew up in the past 3 years or so. In fact, you couldn't even grade a Sports Illustrated until 2009 when CGC first started offering that service. But people have been collecting autographs on Sports Illustrateds for decades. I mean, the SI King, Scott Smith, I think is his name. He's one of the most well-known autograph collectors for Sports Illustrated. I believe he tells the story of how the Wayne Gretzky cover from the early 80s was the first one that got him into this. So, people have been doing that for decades. But now that we have, so I guess what I'm saying is this could open a lot of doors for more people to get into it if they want to preserve. I think that's a huge thing. Preservation, getting these magazines that you cherish in a strong slab that kind of make them easier to display. It's got the authentication on there. You can get the grade, so it brings the condition into play, which is a huge factor with a lot of these collectibles. I think it's a game changer. I'm kind of hopeful that it might put some pressure on CGC to offer this same service. Although, I don't know how realistic that is because CBCS has already been offering this for a while with their comics, and CGC, is much bigger into comics and they haven't budged yet. So probably to think that introducing this with Playboys and Sports Illustrated, to think that would move the needle on CGC, that's probably not realistic. But I am hopeful at some point CGC will get in and do something very similar to what CBCS is doing here. And I'm going to send in one right now. I don't know if it'll be the Kurt Warner. I might pick a different one. But I'm here in the next couple days. I'm going to go ahead and send in one autographed Sports Illustrated copy in my collection to CBCS. I'm going to give it a try, and we're going to see what it looks like. I'll definitely post a follow-up video and share that once I receive it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Big news. Let me know what you think. We've been asking for a long time for some more options. It'd be great if CGC offered something, but you know what? In the meantime, I think this is a pretty decent option to throw out there with CBCS, and I'm going to give it a try and see how it looks. So, all right, that's it. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate subscribes and likes and comments as well. And until next video, see you next time.